want to just get into kind of like a little education piece, the 3 Ps of fat loss, and then we'll get into our fat loss masterclass. So, of course, this isn't working for me now. Okay, here's how this is going to go down. We're going to chat for about 15 or 20 minutes about the 3 Ps of fat loss. I'm going to answer the questions that were submitted to me by people on the email list. Then I'll open it up for questions and answers, and I'll close out by sharing a little something with you guys. So let's get started here. So who am I? My name, for those of you on here, you already know who I am. My name is Lauren Bradley. I'm the founder of Fueled Physique. I am an intuitive awareness and fat loss coach. I've been personal training, teaching classes, doing things with my nutrition degree for the past 10 years. I'm also a certified holistic health coach. Started my business almost 3 years ago. I have my cat Turtle, my dog Candy, who is standing at my feet right now. And I really love all things sugar. And my goal is to help all my clients learn how to balance the sugar intake with the healthier stuff. So let's get into the 3 Ps of fat loss. First one, oh no, we're not there yet. So when it comes to fat loss, all we really have to do is put ourselves in a caloric deficit, meaning that we need to eat less than our body requires of us to kind of go through daily activities, put up with our workouts, our stress level, work, and all of that stuff. So let's say your metabolic rate is like 2,000 calories a day to maintain. You want to be somewhere in like the 1,600 to 1,800 range to have a fat loss result. Now, that's not standard for everybody. That's not the number that I want you to shoot for. That's just an example. So you want to eat less than your body requires of you. But it's easier said than done. So to just say, eat less calories, it's just not that simple, especially if we've done programs like Weight Watchers, the keto diet, Beachbody, all of these programs that promise us results. We know that it's a lot of mind over matter, and it's a lot of mindset stuff. If it was just about calories, we would have no problem. So what can help to make this a little bit easier for us? It's working on our mindset. So why is mindset so important? Get ready, because this is a long list. It keeps us going when we're unmotivated. So when we're sitting on the couch and we're like, oh, I just don't want to do it, or when we just want to order the pizza instead of the salad with chicken or whatever it is, mindset can kind of shift us in the right direction. It helps us make the best choice, salad versus pizza. It helps us stay positive when our results start slowing down or we hit a plateau. And we're going to talk about plateaus in the Q&A part, because that's something important that I really want to touch on. But mindset can really help us push right past those. Our mindset can help us not eat the whole bag of popcorn. So if we come home from work and we're stressed out and our habit is to head right for the kitchen to snack on all the things, our mindset is what's going to stop us to say, like, do I really want to do that? Is there another choice I can make? Is there something different I can do? Our mindset helps us not drink the whole bottle of wine, so it makes it a lot easier for us to think through our decisions and say, like, maybe I'll just have a glass instead of a whole bottle or 2 glasses. Our mindset helps us stay the course when we're faced with temptations, like all the summer barbecues that are about to be popping up this week, being the 4th of July week. It helps us see the positive side of a slip up or a binge. So a lot of my clients will get so down on themselves, like, oh, I can't believe I did this. I drank too much or I ate too much. But when we start shifting our mindset, it can be like, okay, maybe I drank more than I wanted to. What can I take away from this? And what can I do now going forward to make it better? And it helps shift our negative self-talk and improves our body image, self-esteem, and confidence. That all comes from here. So many people think that if they just change the outside, they're going to feel more confident. Their body image is going to skyrocket and their self-esteem is going to skyrocket. But that's an inside job. It doesn't hurt to like the way that we look, but we have to like who we are. We have to know our self-worth. We have to see everything that we bring to the table before we can start focusing on changing the external stuff. So the 3 Ps of fat loss: patience, persistence, and positivity. A lot of people roll their eyes when I talk about mindset stuff because it's not the fun stuff. It's not cut out carbs and lose 10 pounds in a week. It's not exercise for 3 hours a day and lose weight. this is the hard work here. We all know how to eat. We all know how to exercise. What we don't really like to work on is the mindset stuff because it's really, really tough. And I would never, ever say that this is easy. But once we start working on this bit by bit, and once we start, I don't want to say master it because I don't think we ever really do, but once we start like working this into our everyday routine, it just makes things so much simpler, and I would even say a little bit easier. So let's talk about patience. This is the one a lot of people hate the most. And I get why. We live in a culture where we can literally have anything we want right at our fingertips like the next day or within 20 minutes. If you want a date, you can go on Tinder and you can find one. Maybe not the most ideal, but actually, you know, I know a lot of people now who have met online and they love each other, they're getting married. So it's definitely, I'm not like talking down about Tinder, but instant gratification, right? Same thing on social media. We make a social media post and we start getting all these likes. It's instant gratification. We want food, it can be delivered to our house. We need a ride somewhere, we have Uber. Literally, like, we are an instant gratification society. And so when it comes to fat loss, we want our results yesterday. And when I tell people slow and steady is the way to do this, people are like, oh, but I don't want to. Like, I want, like Katie was saying to me the other day, she's like, I thought that I would lose X number of pounds by September. She's starting to realize, which you'll see in a minute, that it's a slower process, but it makes it a lot more enjoyable. So we need to remind ourselves every day, several times a day, that fat loss is a slow process, and it is meant to be, because a lot of times the faster we lose weight, the faster it's going to come back on, and then some. So we can, you know, we can grit our way through 10 days of 0 carbs and lose a bunch of water weight. But then when we start eating those carbs and our mindset's all messed up because we were restrict, and then we gain 12 to 15 pounds, is it really worth it? I would say no, and a lot of my clients say no. So this is client feedback that I just got from a client last week. She says, this is the exact opposite of everything I've ever thought and done. It's slower, but so much more doable, and I don't hate everything while doing it. So this is really exciting for me as a coach to read this, because so many people want that instant gratification, and it can take some time to realize that that's not really how it's going to go down if you're one of my clients or in one of my programs. But what people find is that this is how they get results that last. Second is persistence. So persistence comes into play when we feel like we have been working our butts off, literally. We have been prepping our food, planning our meals, killing our workouts, and we only see a teeny tiny drop on the scale, like a half pound. We eat a bunch of pizza, drink wine, have all the barbecue foods, and we feel so guilty and just want to give up because I always mess up. I can never do this. I never get this right. I do this every time. Those are the thoughts we start to have. When our results stall or we hit a plateau, because that will happen at some point. If you take anything away from this first part of this masterclass, know that fat loss is not linear. So you're not going to lose the same amount of weight every week. It's not going to be this like steady process. There are going to be downs. You're going to lose weight. You might gain a little bit. It's up and down, up and down, up and down the whole time. So when that happens to you, don't get discouraged. And if your body has lost a solid amount of weight, like let's say, I don't know, let's say like 10 pounds within 10 weeks, you might hit a period where things slow down a little bit. And then it will start to go back down. So just hang in there. It's going back to patience. But we need persistence to push through those plateaus. And when we just feel lazy and tired and just over it, I mean, how many of you guys are just like over dieting? Who is just so sick and tired of dieting that like if you never had to go on another diet again, you would be the happiest person alive? I think most people could raise their hands to that one. Yeah. Hi, Lee. So here's the thing. We have to be able to develop a persistent and resilient mindset in order to be successful at fat loss. If you're like, this mindset stuff is not for me, I don't care, I don't want to do it, I'm not the coach for you. and this probably isn't the webinar or masterclass for you, because that is what it's all about. Also know there are going to be days where you want to quit, days where you don't think it's working, days where you're like, why the heck am I doing this? Like, it was just so easier to follow the meal plan. But persistence and resilience, and when you keep pushing, when the going gets tough, that's when the magic happens. That's what it's all about. So here's more real life client feedback. This is another one of my one-on-one clients. She said, and this she told me before her program even officially started. Even just signing up made me feel the accountability. I went to lunch with some friends today and replaced the fries with broccolini, and the restaurant had an option to go bunless and replace the bun with arugula. So the reason I put this in persistence is because how many times have you been about to start a diet or a new meal plan on Monday, because Mondays is the magical day, as we all know, and that weekend you just go crazy. You eat all the things because it's all going to be stuff you're not allowed to have anymore once you start this diet. So that's totally what my client could have done here. She could have said, like, all right, my program starts on Monday. I'm going to have the burger. I'm going to have the fries. I'm going to have the drinks. But she chose this instead, which I think is pretty cool. And then lastly, we have positivity, which I see the eye rolls. I hear the, like, I don't want to talk about this stuff, like woo-woo gratitude stuff, but this is the stuff. So this is what you might do now. Immediately begin criticizing yourself when you look in the mirror. So many people who take my classes at the gym stand in the back row because they do not want to look at themselves in the mirror while they exercise. And part of me gets it, because we don't look our best when we're there, right? We're sweaty, stuff's like hanging out, our shirt's all bunched up. But I also hate that, because isn't it normal to look that way at the gym? And people who don't like to look at themselves, I think there's a problem with that. We need to love and appreciate the way we look. We don't need to love it. We need to like and appreciate the way that we look. Because if we come at it with a negative mindset, we're never going to make positive changes. Maybe you call yourself fat when you eat certain foods. You tell yourself, I'm so out of shape when you're tired at the gym. If something drives me crazy, it's that. When I'm training clients and they're doing an exercise like a squat press and push-ups and renegade rows, and they're like, I'm out of breath, I'm so out of shape. Like, no, those exercises are hard. You're working really hard, and that's a normal response for your body to have. So if this is you, if any of this stuff resonates, or maybe you can fill in the blanks here with your own stuff that you say to yourself, you are literally killing any chance you have at succeeding at weight loss. There is zero evidence that negative self-talk keeps us going and gets us results. Positive self-talk, on the other hand, does. When we think negatively about ourselves or our actions, we will eventually make decisions that are consistent with those thoughts. This is self-sabotage right here, guys, in a nutshell. When we are negative, when we think negatively, whether it's about fat loss, our jobs, our relationships, whatever, that's the stuff we're going to bring up in our lives. We're going to keep having shitty relationships. We're going to keep, eating the foods that aren't in line with our goals. We're going to keep skipping workouts. We're going to keep hating our bodies if we come at it from a negative perspective. Negative thoughts lead to negative actions, and it is nearly impossible to change our actions before we change our thoughts. So positivity is what we are all about. And that's not to say that we're not allowed to have bad days and we're not allowed to have moments where we just don't want to do it. But what we have to do is get really good at flipping the script and using tools and strategies to say, like, all right, maybe, like, I'll use myself for example. I had an indulgent weekend, like, really. And I woke up today feeling like crap. I was super bloated. I felt like so just gross. But I was like, you know what? I can either keep telling myself that and keep this going on for days, or I can do what I can to get myself back to baseline, back to my usual. So one more real life client feedback. This was from one of my beautiful one-on-one clients. Small victory. I took a serving and a half of pasta to work today and was starving by the time lunch rolled around. I looked in the container and was like, swear word, that's definitely not going to be enough for me, but decided to do the fork down thing. So I asked her to put her fork down between bites, because so often we just shovel stuff in, just to slow her down a little bit. Finish the bowl, but am totally full. And so it would have been so easy for her to say, okay, first of all, I took more than one serving. I took a serving and a half. I ate pasta. Carbs are bad for me. That's why I can't lose weight. I'm so disappointed in myself. Lauren's probably disappointed in me. How much am I going to have to work out to get this, burn these calories? But she didn't do that. She used this as a celebration, which I think is so amazing. So to review, 3 P's of fat loss: patience, persistence, and positivity. So we're going to go into this. It kind of ends the first part of our thingy here. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to pull up your window so I can see everybody who's here. Questions, pop them in the chat box. So we are going to move into, I want to see who else is here. Hi, everybody. Oh my God, all my people are on here. So we're going to move into our Fat Loss Masterclass questions and answers. So I have a few of them here, but because you guys are on live, does anybody have a question that they would like me to answer? No, Katie's like, hell no, I'm not getting on live. Anybody? All right, well, if you think of any, let me know. I'm going to pull up the ones that I have here, and some of them are really good, and I know that some of you guys on the call are going to be able to relate to these. So first one, this is a long one. Okay, I'm constantly telling myself this is the week I will do great on my diet, so I splurge and eat all these foods on the weekends that I will not be able to eat while dieting. This obviously does not help. I hate that I do it, but can't seem to stop. I just love pizza and ice cream. It's very difficult. So, what do I do? So this is so common. And the thing that kind of kills me is that people think that they're alone in this and they're the only one that, like, when we're like, okay, Monday's the day, I'm going to do this. And then Monday comes around and we're like, oh, I can't. It's too hard, or I just don't feel like it today, or I'm just going to fail anyway. So a lot of you guys know that my method for this is the exposure, kind of the exposure game. So, and Katie, I wish you would come on live to talk about it, because she's going through it right now. So the exposure game is buying foods that you don't allow yourself to have in your house, keeping them in your house, and just seeing how you do. And I give you a lot of mindful tools to kind of work through it. So it's not like you're just using willpower to kind of get through. But this is a huge mindset thing, because we're taught that fat will make us fat, carbs will make us fat, certain types of protein, fruit will make us fat, which is just beyond me. And I don't know where that came from. I'm going to blame Dr. Atkins, but I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll blame him. We're taught that all these foods are so bad for us and they'll make us fat, and it's just not true. The reason why we gain weight is because we eat too many calories. Now, it is true that nobody has ever gotten fat by eating too much spinach or strawberries or bananas or whatever. That's not usually the stuff that we splurge on. We usually splurge on the stuff that we think is so bad for us and that we shouldn't have, right? So things like trail mix, popcorn's a big one for people, cookies, chips, wine. Those are foods that are a lot of times cut out of diets when we are, or out of our diets when we choose to go on a fat loss diet. And it just doesn't have to be that way. A lot of you guys who have done my programs, you know that you can totally have the foods that you want. It just has to be in appropriate portions. So you can have the cereal, you can have the popcorn. So the thing that you want to do is start, it's kind of like you have to prove it to yourself. So start exposing yourself to these foods little by little, bit by bit, and prove to yourself that you can do it, that you can control yourself around these foods, that you aren't going to eat the whole box of cereal the second you pour yourself a bowl. But it's a practice. So there may be a couple weeks where you do really well, and then you come home and eat the whole box of trail mix. There may be a couple months where you do great, and then you get really stressed out and you eat a whole pizza. But that is like what I was talking about with fat loss. With this stuff, there are ebbs and flows, there are ups and downs. It's never linear, it's never perfect. So that would be my suggestion there. With anybody struggling with eating too much of X amount of food, and especially that binge that a lot of us would do before we go on a diet, find a diet that allows you to work those foods into your everyday lifestyle if you really want them. Questions on that? Comments on that? Anything? Kirsten? She's like, don't call me out. Don't do it. All right, let me get the next one up. And if you guys have any questions, you let me know. This was a good one. So this is about the plateau. She says, I lost 23 pounds and have only really gone away from the healthy eating this weekend since I was away on the trip. I've been faithful in working out and even pushed myself to go to the gym while on vacation. I don't see my weight changing anymore. I've been stuck at the same weight for about 3 weeks and wonder if my muscle development has impacted me losing. I want to lose another 5 to 10 pounds, but can't shake the firm number. My question is, how do I change up the diet to find out what is impeding the loss? How long before I would notice a change of any, or if any? I know this could vary with each person, but should I be watching portion control with certain foods or eating more fat-burning foods and not worrying about portions? This one is like gold. I could talk about this stuff for a long time, but I won't. Okay, so what do we do when we hit a plateau? If you are paying attention to your hunger cues, hunger and fullness cues. So if you're eating when you're physically hungry and you're stopping when you're satisfied, if you are getting enough exercise and the right amount of exercise for you, which is different for everybody, if you were sleeping, if you were managing stress, and you hit a plateau, do nothing. Wait. So this woman lost, let's see, she did a May Meltdown program that I did, which was 4 weeks. So that was 8 weeks ago, and she's been at the same, okay, so she lost like 5 pounds a week. So we're going to address that right now. That is a lot of weight to lose per week. So right now, her body's probably saying, whoa, what's going on? Are we going into starvation mode? I need to like slow this down and hold on to everything I can. And that's the danger of restricting calories so much, because in order, when we hit a plateau, if we do restrict our calories heavily, if we reach a plateau, we're going to have to go even lower to get it going again. And then we're going to have to go even lower and lower and lower. So the idea is always to start with the highest number of calories we can, the most amount of food that we can, so that when that stuff happens, we can make teeny tiny adjustments and still move the needle in the right direction. So that would be my concern with this one, is that it was too much too fast. And now the body's like, whoa, what am I supposed to do? So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to kind of normalize is a plateau. Plateaus do happen. Like I was saying before, we're not just going to go down, 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 down on a steady trend. It's going to be up and down and all around, especially as women, especially when we're at a certain place in our cycle. Fat loss is going to seem like it's stalled, it's never going to happen again, and that's when we like cry about it and eat all the chocolate. But it will keep going if you are listening to your hunger and fullness cues, if you're exercising, if you're sleeping, and if you're managing your stress, you will be fine. But that's the benefit of obviously having a coach, so that I would be able to see exactly what you're doing and walk you through the process. The last thing that I want to talk about, portion control is always important. But we don't have to focus so much on weighing and measuring our foods when we pay attention to our hunger and fullness cues. And then the last thing is fat-burning foods. No such thing. No such thing. It would be so awesome if we could just eat a bunch of grapefruits and then be like skinny mini, right? Or if we could just eat a bunch of cabbage soup and, you know, all those crazy diets. There is no such thing as a fat-burning food. There is no food that will increase our metabolism enough to result in weight loss. It's all about calories in, calories out, regulating our hormones, sleeping, for the love of God, guys, get some sleep. I know with kids it's hard, but like just do the best you can. Drink water, do all the stuff that you know you should be doing anyway, but you just think it's going to take too long to get there. That's the stuff you need to be doing. Slow and steady wins the race. We'll go back to that. All right, any questions about that while I pull up our last question? If I can find it. If you have questions, just drop them in the chat here. Okay, last one. Okay, she says, hi, my biggest struggle is the whole calorie counting. I find it hard to cook a healthy meal because it seems as if the calories add up fast. I also struggle with how to burn stomach fat. I feel constantly bloated. Okay, so these questions are always kind of hard to answer without knowing exactly what's going on in this person's life. But number one, calorie counting, you don't have to do it. It's nice to kind of be aware of how many calories you're eating. That's why with a lot of my fat loss clients, I ask them to track for their first week or so, because it allows us to see like what they're actually taking in and any tweaks that we need to make. So I don't think that calorie counting is necessary. You guys on here know hunger and fullness cues is my thing. If we listen to our body, if we know what physical hunger feels like for us, and we know what satisfaction feels like for us, we don't really need to worry about calories, because we're not going to be eating a surplus. We're not going to be overeating. We're not going to be stuffing ourselves by listening to our hunger and fullness cues. That's really the only thing we need. We are born with that kind of instinct to know when we're hungry and know when we're done, right? You see babies do it all the time, pushing food away and all of that stuff. And through, force feeding, or you're not getting up from the table until you finish your broccoli or your steak or whatever, we lose touch with that. And so as adults, now that we're in charge of ourselves, we can kind of get back into that habit of stopping and saying, am I hungry? Do I want to eat this? Is this actually what will satisfy me? Am I just trying to satisfy a craving? And that's okay, but just make it a mindful choice. So I don't think calorie counting is the way to go. It also depends on what you're putting into your meal. So like she's saying, calories add up fast. Depends on what you're making. So there are always ways that we can kind of cut calories and still make food taste good. And I mean, you guys know me, I'm not a big cook. I can help you kind of figure it out, but I don't have like a whole arsenal of recipes or anything like that for you. But it depends on what you're making. Fat has more calories than anything else. Well, fat is 9, alcohol is 7. So if we're eating a lot of fat and drinking a lot of alcohol, yeah, calories are going to add up really, really fast. If we go more towards the protein and the starches, that's 4 calories per gram. So that's obviously a lower calorie choice. So it's just kind of weighing out those macros and finding what works for you. There was a third part here. Struggle with how to burn stomach fat. So this is a big one too, especially for women and especially as we reach menopause. There is a way to burn stomach fat, but you can't spot reduce. Again, it would be so awesome if we could just do 100 crunches a night and have 6-pack abs, but we have to take a total body approach. So we have to do total body workouts. We have to go for walks. We have to watch what we eat. We have to drink a lot of water. We have to sleep, and we have to manage our stress. Are you noticing a pattern here? All of these things that we have to do to lead us to the end goal. That's what it is, guys. That's the big secret that everybody's looking for. It's hunger and fullness cues. It's prioritizing protein and produce. Yes, you can eat fruit, especially in the summer. I don't care how much fruit you eat, just eat it. It's so good. Make the majority of your starches vegetables. Vegetables are carbs. Does that like blow your mind? Because they are. What else would they be? They're not protein, they're not fat, they're carbs. They're good because they have a lot of water and a lot of fiber in them, so they help us stay fuller longer than like a bowl of pasta. But if the majority of our carbs are coming from veggies, we're in a good place. And then we can add the fun stuff. We can add some rice, we can add some pasta, we can add candy, we can add pizza in if we want to. If at least 80% of our meals are spot on. We have to drink a lot of water. You have to sleep. You have to sleep. Being low on sleep screws with our hormones unbelievably. That is priority, sleeping, and stress management, which is easier said than done. Both of those things I know, especially with kids, especially with jobs, especially with dating and all of this stuff that we have going on. Stress is high, but we need to figure out how to manage that stuff if we want lasting fat loss. And again, it's not to say that like we have to live in this universe where everything is perfect and we have no worries and we're never stressed or anything like that. But we have to find a way to manage it. So do you guys have any questions on what I just talked about? Anything that you want me to clarify? Any questions that you have? Scroll through here while we, no? Cool. All right, so the majority of you guys are already in my program. So I'm gonna run through my super special offer for you guys. If you want to jump into this and put something on hold or show this to one of your friends, have them in, we can talk about that. I want to show you how I'm gonna help people put all of this together. So I have a program called the Overeating Solution. I launched this for the first time last spring, back in 2007, and it was amazing. So the Overeating Solution is 4 weeks of mindset, nutrition, and lifestyle change coaching. It offers a final long-term solution to weight loss because I give you simple strategies to help you get your mind right so that you can tap into those hunger and fullness cues, so that you can start managing stress, so that you know where you are in your cycle and how that's going to affect all of that stuff. You'll get a sense of control around food. So you'll get your control back over those foods that you're like, I do not allow myself to keep trail mix in my house. You'll be able to do that after this program's over. You'll start to have an improved relationship with food and your body. This is major, major, major. It feels so good to be able to say, I was offered like all of this pizza and mozzarella sticks, but I chose a salad. It just feels really good. It's like I'm doing something good for myself. It's awesome. And less food and body obsession. So less of the like pinching the fat and saying, oh, I look so gross, and more of like, this is where I'm at, and if I want to improve, this is what I have to do. So how does the Overeating Solution work? It's a self-paced 4-week online group coaching program. There's a closed private Facebook group, and I'll be going live in that group twice a week. I'm going to teach 1 weekly module in there, which will be on Wednesday nights, and then do an open Q&A on Saturday mornings so that you can ask all your questions, share your wins, and all of that stuff in real time. There'll be weekly challenges and workbooks to complete that go along with the module for that week so that you can start practicing this stuff in real time and get the coaching that you need from me. And then I'll be sending you 2 emails a week reviewing what's going down in the Facebook group, the recordings, workbooks, and anything else that I want to throw at you. So the Overeating Solution is for women who feel like they don't have control over food, who can't stop obsessing over what to eat and when to eat. People who are just so over dieted and so confused that they just don't know what to do next. Women who feel intense guilt when they eat things that they don't think they should. And we talk about that word should a lot in this program. They usually or consistently use words and phrases like bad, shouldn't, lazy, unmotivated, it will never work, why even bother, it's my bad genetics, I have no willpower. So using all of that negative self-talk and excuses to not get it done. Women who have tried countless diets and keep losing then gaining the same 5 to 20 pounds over and over and over again. Who has done that? I have done it so many times. Can't stop stress eating and snacking. So you make a beeline right for the kitchen as soon as you get home to start eating your feelings. We've all been there. It's normal to do it, but there are ways to stop it and ways to control it. So what do you get when you join? This is the fun, well, the next slide is the fun stuff. This is kind of the structure of the program, which is fun too, I guess. So the private Facebook group to share wins, ask questions, get support, and you will have lifetime access to the Facebook group and all of the modules. So long after the program is over, if you want to go back and talk to people about how they're doing, how they handle certain things that pop up, the girls will be in the group to help you out forever, for as long as Facebook exists. There's weekly group coaching in the webinar or the module and the open Q&A session, workbooks, and then we'll transform your mindset, which is key. And this is the fun stuff. So the first 5 people who sign up will get a 45-minute one-on-one fat loss freedom strategy call with me, where we will go deep into your stuff. What's holding you back, where you struggle, and why. And then we'll create a plan to get you through the program so that you can nip that in the bud ASAP. The first 10 people who sign up will get a Fueled Physique mug. It's a nice little white mug with my logo wrapped around it, which is really fun. That will ship to you shortly after the program starts because I just ordered them and they need to make them for me. And then if you should decide to continue with coaching, the price for Overeating Solution will go towards a one-on-one coaching program. So this is a $1 million question. How much does it cost? So what does it cost to get coaching, webinars, question and answer sessions, workbooks, phone call, a mug, and anything else I want to throw at you? It is a freaking steal. It's $149. This is a $200 program, but for people on this Fat Loss Masterclass who have signed up for it, who are here live, who have submitted questions, it's $149, one payment of $149. So what are we going to be covering? Mindfulness cues to use before, during, and after eating, so that it's not just autopilot, just shoveling stuff in. It's thoughtful. Again, not all the time, but most of the time. Exposure to forbidden foods. So that's the exposure theory I was talking about before. Rewriting the soap opera, replaying in our heads daily. So the drama of dieting, of, oh, why can't I just do this? And I try so hard and I just can't do it. Enough of that. Enough of that stuff. Just held back a swear there. Recognizing our limiting self-beliefs and how to shift them to get to our goals. If we do not believe that we can do it, we will not do it. Everything starts with our beliefs. So if we've been told forever that we have bad genetics, or if we were told when we were younger that, oh, you're so fat, you're never going to be anything other than that. If we start to believe those things, we're never going to get to our goal. So shifting those self-beliefs to be more positive. Forgiveness practices, why we eat emotionally and how to stop, what it means to listen to your body. That is my intuitive awareness thing there. Shifting your thoughts from self-deprecation to positive affirmation, building an abundant, resilient, and grateful mindset, which this is where a lot of people roll their eyes, do not do it, because this is the stuff, and so much more. We cover anything and everything that people want to talk about. So the 4 modules, week 1 is emotional eating, why we do it and how to stop. That's always the most popular, so I like to get it done first. Week number 2, how to shift our stories, identity, values, and beliefs in order to make our goals a reality. Week number 3, self-sabotage, why we do it and how to stop, and cultivating a resilient mindset by changing our inner dialogue. And week 4, developing confidence, self-trust, and self-respect. Because when it comes down to it, it's all about self-respect. We will treat ourselves poorly if we don't respect ourselves. So we need to build up that self-respect, and that's what we do in this program. This is a testimonial from a former Overeating Solution client. She said, I joined Overeating Solution because I was a major after-dinner snacker, and I couldn't seem to control it. This is keeping me from some of my goals. Being with a group of women that were going through similar struggles made me feel like I wasn't alone, and was motivating to try new things and see new perspectives. Lauren provided specific tools, methods, and support to help with a positive change. With this help, I changed my relationship with food, which is a skill I will use for the rest of my life. So one more time, this is all you get. Access to me and the other ladies in a private Facebook group, weekly coaching webinars and question and answer sessions, workbooks, transform mindset, a fat loss freedom strategy call for the first 5 people, a Fueled Physique mug for the first 10 people. And if you should decide to continue with coaching after Overeating Solution ends in August, the price for the program will be put towards your coaching investment. So this program starts on July 11th and goes to August 8th. So it starts on a Wednesday and it ends on a Wednesday. Do you guys have any questions about that? Pop it in the chat box if you do. Anything. There will be a link to this program hitting your inbox in, I don't know, when did I send it? 8, I think. So if you want more info on the program, you can actually just click here, get more info. If you're ready to sign up right there. But definitely check your inbox, check out that link, get all the details there. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Anything at all? No? All right, ladies. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being on live. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.